Okay, then I'll start my program, right? So include. So first of all, I'm going to include this standard input output header file, right? And then I create the main function. So int main, right? And then first of all, I create variable, say test integer, right? Say a number. I'll create variable for a number, and then I print the printf using printf function. I output message. Let's say enter number, enter number. All right. So then I use this scan if function, right? So here I'm going to take the input integer. So therefore, in here, I'll specify the data type of the input, and then here I'll specify the address of the input, say number, right? Then I can output the input number, right? So now I'm going to output the input. So here number is, and then put the data type, and then here print the variable value, right? And then finally I have to return 0, since our main method is integer return type. So here I return 0 as the return value, right? Then I'm going to save this. So this is say input value 1.c. So that's my file name. Now I'm going to compile this, execute, compile. All right. So now you can see. So if there are any error, right, so it will be shown, right? So now you can see there are no errors. Since there are no errors, I can run it, right? Now you can see, right? It's a enter number, right? So in here I can enter integer 50, right? So likewise here we can print the message, right? Then that message will be printed, right? Then user can input the value, right? Now you can see enter number. So here say 100. So that is integer input. Okay. Okay. Can you all get this idea? Have you got this idea? Have you got this idea? How to take inputs? How to take integer input? Right. Okay, that's about the integer input, right? So others are also same, right? So only thing is we have to specify the type of the input, right? So here, if you want to take the float and double input, right? So float specify by %f, double specify by the LF. LF means long float, all right? So here, say float number 1 and double number 2, right? So in here, I print the message to input float value, and then take the float value, and then I output the message to insert a double value or another number, and then here I specify the data type is double, and here I specify the double variable address of the double variable, right? So then here I can print both inputs, right? Have you got this? Have you got this idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll demonstrate this, right? I'll demonstrate how to take a float and double, right? So that you can try with this in your software later, right? So here include header file, right? So what is the header file? Standard input output header file, all right? And then main method int main, right? So this is the block of main method. So if you want to, you can say return 0 at the beginning, right? So sometimes it will be forget, right? So then return 0. Then I have to create two variables. One is float, say float number 1, and then other one is say double number 2, right? Then I'll print the message, say printf, right? So say first of all, I'm going to take the input for the number one, right? So therefore here you can say enter value for like this, right? And next one is here actually we can specify the scanf function by using the relevant data type scanf, right? So here specify the data type and dollar percentage float means f, right? And then here we can set the address of the number one number, right? And then next one is say printf, and then we can say enter value for num2. So here we can say scanf and then specify the data type. Data type is double. Double means LF. LF means actually long float. And then specify the address of the variable, say num2, right? And then we can print the both inputs, say printf num1, right? So we can print the value of num1. So that is floating point f, right? And then we can set the variable name. Variable name is num1, right? And the next one is printing the double variable, all right? And it's a, right? So here we can see it says the say number 2, which is double, that is LF, all right? Okay, that's about the here. If you want, you can say number 1 and then here number 2. I save this, say input value 2. Right. Okay, so let's see if there are, since there are 2 inputs, right? So you have to input 2 values, right? So here, first of all, I'm going to compile this. I'd say there's one error. Yeah, here you can see it, right? Where's that error? Can you guess?
Print f in
yeah, there's a spelling mistake, right? It should be print f, right? Have you got this? So when you look at this comments carefully, so here you can see, right? There's a, it's a input value, right? So that's the program name, the file name. It's a undefined reference to print ft. Here you can see, right? It mentioned that spelling mistake, right? And right now I compile this. Now there are no errors. Number of errors is 0. Since there are no errors, I can run this or I can execute. Here you can see enter value for number 1. Right now I can input say floating point number like this. Here you can see the here both time output, right? So since here there is no end line, so here if you want you can put end line. End line means go to next line. So after this input, after this output, say number 1 is here a floating point. So actually this f is replaced by the value of num1, right? So this num1 value goes to here, right? So this is replaced by the value of num1. So this is replaced by value of num2, right? So after replacing this value of num1 in here, they go to the next line, right? So I compile again and run this, right? So now you can see. So this is first input. This is a second input, right? Okay, have you got this idea? Is it okay? You don't understand?
They make a output කොහොමද එන්නේ? ඒක කියන්න පුළුවන්ද?
What was that?
output මේ වගේ program කරා නම්
Oh, so
කොහොමද
here,
output එන්නේ?
yeah, here we can take input and then here we output it two numbers. Here I take input and then here I output, right? Yeah, using printf function. Actually, there are no process, right? So here I don't have any process. If you want, you can do processing. Here we take inputs. Here we output the inputs. Have you got it? Here we take two integers. Sorry, two inputs. One is float, the other one is double. And then here I output the floating point and the double value. Is it okay? Have you got that? Here I take floating point input. Here I take double input, right? So both are inputs. And then here I output output both inputs. Here I output.
කොහොමද එන්නේ මේකේ?
මොකද? මෙතන output එකද? මෙතන output කරලා printf function එකේ. මෙතන message එක. Right? Then make a input gun. Here I take input to the this num1 variable. Here I take input to the num2 variable. Here I output num1 variable and num2 variable. So the value of num1 variable and value of num2 variable. Have you got it? Is there any problem? You can ask, right? प्रश्न තියෙනවද ඔයාලා මොකක් හරි? අහන්න බෑද මැසේජ් එක හරි සෙන්ඩ් කරනවා? If you have any problem, you can ask, right? So if you can't ask, you can send a message.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so when a character is so in here, right? So this is the character input, right? So here we have to create a variable using the character type char, and then here output the message. Here we take the input, right? Here we specify the address of the character variable, right? And then the data type is specified by the %c, right? And then we can output the value of the chr or the character variable. Here again we have to output the we have to specify the output format, right? And then return 0, right? So when a character is entered by the user in the above program, the character is itself is not stored. That is, when you if you enter a value a, right, the character a, so a is not stored, right? The character is a is not stored, right? So instead of then that character, the ASCII value of that character is stored, right? So every character has its own ASCII value, right? So I can't remember. I think a is 63, right? Capital A. Simple a is 98 or 92 or around that, right? So character itself is not stored in the memory. Instead of that character, the relevant ASCII value, each and every characters are assigned a particular ASCII value, right? That ASCII value is stored rather than the character, right? So when we display the value of the variable by using this character format, that is percentage %C, the entire character is displayed. That means that ASCII value is converted to the relevant character, right? So for example, if you say A is 63, so when you enter character A, the rather than the character A, 63 is stored in the variable, right? And then when you output that value of that variable by using this character format, right, it will be output the relevant character A, right? So if you use the percentage %D, right, rather than C, so when you output the value, that ASCII value is printed, right? So like this, right? So here I'll create the character variable, right? Star, say star, and then output the message, and then input that character to this variable, right? And %char, and percent is the address of this variable. And then here, if you want the output of this character, here I can print %C and then character char. And then if you want to print this ASCII value here, instead of C, I can use D. D means the integer value of this variable. Integer value means the ASCII value. Have you got this? Have you got this?
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll demonstrate it, right? Then you will realize this, right? Right, now I'm making pin now. Right, okay, I'll realize, right? So here, I'll create a new file. So here include, say, standard input output header file, stdio.h, all right? And then say int main, all right? Okay. And then I create, say, character, say, R, or say grade. I'm going to take the grade A, B, something like that. All right. So then first of all, I'll output, say, message, printf, enter grade. Right. So let's see, enter grade, all right. Say enter grade. Enter grade. And then I'll take that input, and if, all right, say C, address of that variable, that is grade, right? And then I'm going to output that input, say print f, all right?
So I can't see the screen, sir.
Others, can you see this new C++ software?
Now it's okay, sir.
Okay, so in here I import the standard input output header file and then create the main method. Here I create the character variable called grade, and then output message, say enter grade, and then here I input the here I'll take the input, right? So the type of the input is character and %grade, right? And then here printf function. So here I'm going to print the value, say grade is, say here output the variable, say grade, right? And then I'm going to print the say grade is, right? In here I'll output the variable, right? So in here I have to specify the variable type. Now in here I specify variable type is character. See, here I specify the variable type as, say, integer. Have you got this? Did you understand? And finally I return 0. Return 0. Now did you understand this? Hello. Here, create the character variable. Here I print the message, and then here I take the input, take the character input. So that's why I put this C is here. All right, and then ampersand grade. So that's the address of this character variable. Here I print the character format of the variable. Here I print the integer format of the variable. So when you print the character format, it will be print the input letter. When you print the integer format of the character variable, so this is the integer format of the character variable, they print the ASCII value of the character. Right. So I told you that. So when you take the character input, right, so it does not store the character itself. Rather than character itself, it store the ASCII value of the input character. Right. So, but when you output the character format of the variable, they will output the a character of the relevant. They output the character according to the ASCII value. All right. So when you print, when you compile this, so you say input, say 3, input, say value 3. So that's my file. All right. Print f. Okay. So there is error in say printf. Can you identify that error? Printf. Can you identify that error?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now you can identify that error. Guys.
8 and 9 rows.
Yeah. What is the incorrect thing? Print. It should be printf, right? So it should be printf. So you must have
Print
ability.
F.
Yeah. Printf.
F.
Right.
Print
So,
F.
okay. So I made some mistakes because then when you face that kind of difficulties or that kind of errors, so once when you got the errors, so you must have ability to correct it. All right. Okay. Then I compile. Now number of errors are 0. Now I run this. Now I think okay. Now can you see this screen? Enter grade. Then I enter A. Here you can see the grade is
Yes,
A,
sir.
and then next one grade is 65. That is the ASCII value. Here, yeah, since I made some modification. So here it should be like this. Here I'll print this. Say go to the next slide. So now this is my program. Okay. So this is my, I made some modification, right? So enter grade, then I put equal. So here you can enter grade, and then here output. The grade is this. The grade is, so here I output the character format of the variable. Here I output the integer format of the variable, right? Okay, now I execute. Right, okay. Compilation is okay. Now, can you see this screen, the output screen? Can you see this output screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I input character B, capital B. Then I enter. Now you can say grade is B and the grade is 66 means this is the ASCII value. This is the ASCII value. So because in here, the second output, in here I output the integer format of the variable. Integer format means the ASCII value, right? So that is capital B, right? So that is 66, right? So now you can see. So when I input the Okay, there's a problem with this. Okay, this window. Now, can you see this screen? This one.
Yes, sir.
Here I out input the say lowercase b, lowercase or simple b. Now you can see simple b, so grade is simple b and the grade is say 98. 98 means the SQ level. Earlier we got 66. 66 is capital B. 98 means simple b. Okay, have you got this? Have you got this? Hello? Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then you can take the multiple values, right? So that's nothing because here if you want, you can take the character. So if you want, you can take the floating point, right? So if you want, you can take both inputs, right? So at once, so it's a enter integer and then float, right? So here you can take two or more inputs, right? So by using this relevant format, right? So you have to use the relevant format, that's all, right? So I'll upload this material, then you can practice this, right? So actually, so these are the formats specified. So basically we use integer, floating point, character, and double, right? So if you want short int, long int, and then so depending on that value, the range of values. So basically we use this first four, right? Integer, character, float, and double. So those are the basic inputs, right? So once if you take the inputs, you can do the process, right? So because if you want to add two numbers and then if you want to say multiply one by another, right? So for example, right? Let's see. Now you are asked to do say if you are asked to create a program to add two numbers or say add three numbers, right? So how can we do that, right? So assume now I'm going to create a program to add two numbers. Have you got that? Have you got it? Did you understand my question? Now what I want to do, I want to say, I want to, okay, right now what I want to take two input from the user and output the total and the average, right? Okay, first of all, I'll import the standard input output header file stdio.h. So this header file and say int main, right? And then next one is say take. Okay, here I create variable. Say I need say integer input. Say int, or if I want, I can create float. Float num1. And say so since both are floats, I can create at once, right? So say float number one, and then float number two, and then I need summation sum for total, and then avg average. Since all are float, I can create at once. Then so this is my first message. Say printf enter number one, enter say 24 number one, or enter number one, right? And then here I take that input scan if, all right? So in here input is float if, and then the address of num1, right? That's it. And then next message say printf and then enter number 2, right? And then scan if, all right? That is 14 point f and n% say num2. Okay, and then next one is processing summation. Right now, I think, can you see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here I import the header file, and then so this is the main function. Here I create 4 variables, sum1, num2, sum and average, right? And then here I take the first input. You know how to take the input, print the message, and then scanf, since those are float, f, and then address of the first variable. And then here I'll take the second input, and then since the input is floating point, say a percentage f and num2, address of num2. Is it okay? Is it okay? Hello? Is it okay? Hello, did you understand this? Okay, then I'll calculate the summation, say num1 plus, sorry, plus num2. And then average AVG is, say, sum divided by 2. Then I'll print the output, printf. Summation is, say the total is, say sum. Total is in some variable, and then average, printf, average. So I put the average like this. Average is AVG. Average is in AVG, variable AVG. So that's all. So if you want to print total, and then you can go to the next line. So say sum. Have you got this? Did you understand this? Printf. Yeah. Okay. Now I compile this. So you can use scan bar. There's error. So here you have to end up with semicolon. You can see there are no errors. Now I can run this. Now you can see. Can you see this exhibition window? Sir? Can you see this window? I put 15.58 and then say 102.56. Now you can see, yeah, there's a problem with this total and sum average. What's the problem? Here, what is the problem? Here I don't specify the data type of the output. You can see here I don't specify the data type. Did you understand it? Here I don't specify the data type of the output. Here there is no data type. So therefore I put the data type. Say data type is a percentage f. So this here floating point. Here also floating point. Percentage f. Now I compile this. Right. So there is no error. You can see this window. Errors are 0. Then I run this. All right. This one. 50.56. Next one 102.36. Now you can see the total is this, average is this. Okay. I think you got this. Right now you can practice this taking inputs and the output with the process. Right. Then if you have any problem regarding this, please let me know. Then I'll help you. All right.